I'm going to say,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome for the first time to the Electric Vibe podcast. Now streaming on all platforms, and I have to give a huge thanks to my co-host and smooth voice from another mother, Mr. J. David Silva, the Electric Man. Jay, first and foremost, you have been behind the scenes working like a pack of wild wolves, getting us on all streaming formats. I don't know how else to describe it. So if you're hearing us on a format that Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music. What else am I missing, Jay?
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
Yep.
So if you're listening to us on one of these streaming formats, he is the man instrumental in that happening. And so we are trying to move onward and upward here with the 525 campaign and getting new guests. Speaking of which, Jay, can you tell us who we have today?
Yes, sir. Kurt, today we're welcoming celebrity hairstylist Kim Berry to the Electric Vibe podcast. As an elite stylist, Kim has shown her celebrity clients her impeccable skill, her endless creativity, and her boundless energy. Kim honed her craft while studying at Pacific Beauty College, laying the foundation for her amazing success. And yes, we're going to be talking about all of that. In addition to spending 3 decades as a hairstylist for rock superstar Prince, Kim has also styled for a countless number of other celebrities, including Cat Williams, Regina Hall, Chloe Bailey, and that's only to name a few, right?
Yeah.
So, Kim is also the author of Diamonds and Curls, which detailed her journey as to being a celebrity hairstylist and working with Prince, among others. And I know that you and I are both extremely proud and happy to welcome Kim Berry to the Electric Vibe podcast.
And Kim Berry, welcome to the Electric Vibe podcast. How do we find you today, my dear?
Thank you for having me. I'm great. Thank you. Glad to be here with you guys.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
First and foremost, we, recording this the day after the Oscars, and of course, a day or two prior to that, we find out about Angie Stone passing away in a horrific car accident. And our hearts go out to you and any of her fans and family at this time. Angie was that the whole neo soul movement
Yep.
that she was a huge part of. Not to mention the fact that the song she did with Prince on the Chocolate Invasion, "You Make My Sunshine," probably one of my favorite out of the early 2000s that he put out. That should have been a huge song, and her
Yeah,
soul.
she was the most slept on artist to me. Just amazing because she didn't fit the vibe, you know.
Mhm.
She wasn't the typical light skin, thin, you know. She was this dark skin, heavy set, just vivacious woman. And that wasn't what the record companies was looking for at the time. You know, same thing with her being with D'Angelo. When D'Angelo first came out, they
Mhm.
told him he had to break up with her because she didn't fit the vibe. So he had to break up with her, even though that was who kept him grounded. You know what I'm saying? That's who kept him locked in. And I remember him coming to Paisley Park, and Prince was telling him, "Man, you got it. You have it. Don't let them rob you of your joy. Don't let them take it from you."
Wow.
And it is so amazing. Like, they went into the studio, they recorded, they sat and talked for hours and hours and hours. And Prince was like, "Man, don't let them rob you," you know. And it was interesting to see how D'Angelo's career went up and then down. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everything that Prince talked about, he was so far ahead of his time.
Mm.
It was scary, but he brought the younger artists in, and I used to tell him all the time, "You need to write a book. You need to write a book." And then guess what? When he decides to write a book, he gets 50 pages done and he dies. You know, so it's like I
Mm.
kept telling him the people want to know because Sheaf had wrote a book on the entertainment industry, and I was telling him, "Man, you're doing way more than Kashif. You need to be, you know, get your book out there and let
Yeah.
the younger artists know what's happening." And he was like, "No, ain't nobody gonna listen. It ain't." He said, "I just gotta keep doing me, Kim. I gotta keep doing me, you know." And so
Yeah.
it was just very interesting to see how he always outsmarted the record companies. He was always a step ahead of them. He was and they hated him for that. They hated him for that.
Mhm.
And now that I look back on it, that's why I said ever since I heard about Angie, and then, like I said, I had already known about her going up against the record company because she was not getting her royalties. And I'm just like, not another one, not another one. You know, so sad. It's so sad. But just some of the most amazing artists in the world. That's what you never knew when you open the doors of Paisley Park who was going to be on the other side of that door. Like I walk in and Boosie Collins walking around, and Mavis Staples, Patti LaBelle was there all the time, and you just never know. It was just so amazing. I remember when Oprah came and did the interview on us, and Oprah said, "This building bigger than my building." She was like, and I said, "Now you impressing somebody. You impressing Oprah Winfrey." But yeah, it was just an amazing journey, man. Because, like I said, it was just amazing to watch him grow into every year, redefining himself and turning into another person and being a better man and a better musician. And it was just, he made me respect real music. You know what I mean? And because it's like now when I go to concerts and I hear the Dats playing and I just be like,
I hear that.
Right.
yeah, that's one thing he prided himself on: real music by real musicians.
Sure did.
Yeah.
So, Kim, speaking of which, keeping things topical, last night was the Oscars, and I know Prince hosted many an Oscars after party. And of course, you had him always looking. I know you always had him looking good and high and tight and everything, and whatever style he was doing.
Yeah.
What was it like for you? You're out there. You're Kim Berry on set, so you're out there on a TV set, a movie set. Last night, I believe, who was it? The folks who did the Substance movie with Demi Moore. They were the ones who won Best Hair and Makeup. Being a person who's out there in the makeup industry and having to have made Prince up for the Oscars, a very, very one of the highest profile gigs. Over 1 billion people on average watch that. What was it like during those experiences in the Oscars parties?
Man, I said this is a quiet award season for me. I did work the Grammys, and so that was cool. I said, but it was the most electric time of year because everybody knew that they was going to the Prince party afterwards. You went to the little after party or whatever, that Grammys or the Oscars and the Emmys, whoever they held, but only the who's who of Hollywood was going to be allowed into those after parties that went from the time till the sun came up at Prince house. So every house that he got in Los Angeles, he renamed 3121. That was his palatial palaces. I mean, these places were the most. I remember one of them was Vanna White's ex-husband's house that we stayed in. And man, these places were so ridiculous, like sunken living rooms. And I remember when we stayed in Carlos Bruiser's house. And Carlos Bruiser, we went through the house and, they had the house decorated already. Of course, Prince is taking everything that belongs to him down. So he had CBs everywhere. Prince took them all down. They put up Prince symbols everywhere. All his wife went nuts. And she lost her mind because and then inside the chandelier, when you first walk in the house, it was this huge, beautiful white chandelier. Prince had purple crystals put inside the chandelier. She went nuts. She went nuts. He had purple flowers put down the driveway. She went nuts. I said, lady, you getting like $80,000 a month. Which is more than most people are getting paid in a year. Hello. I told Prince, I was like, why you don't just buy a house? He said, I don't want to stay here. This is where the crazy people live. So he's like, come to LA to visit. I got to go home when it's time, Yep. And I mean, but when I tell you some of the most stunner parties, you look over to the right, it'll be Anita Baker. You look over to this side, it'll be Anthony Hamilton. You look over across the room, you'll see Demi Moore. I remember one time Matthew McConaughey came and he played the bongos until his hands started bleeding. I was like, what in the world? Like, he wasn't even on a beat. He was just a bongo and a bongo. It was hilarious. And I'm just watching him. I remember one time I was just so exhausted. We had been up all day. Prince had performed. just we was gone all day, and so I'm standing up against the wall, and my homegirl Debbie McGuan, who was Prince's clothing designer, she
Designer,
was
yes.
next to me. I said, "Don't move, okay, don't move." So she's standing next to me because I knew I was going to go to sleep. So I go to sleep, and I'm standing up, sleep with my knees locked because I'm like, I am exhausted. It's probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Prince just playing his heart out. I'm like, oh my God. So I went to sleep, and all I could hear was clap your hands, Kim. And I just woke up.
He got you.
And Prince used to be like, you don't think the president's bodyguards sleep? Oh, I felt so bad for his bodyguards. I saw y'all talk to Big Coco,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah,
Yes.
Prince didn't play that because girl, the bodyguards couldn't sleep and they couldn't eat in front of him. That used to be the craziest. That they used to make me get in the car with Prince in the back so they could get in the front so they could, just take a nap.
Right.
They'd be like, Kim, you ride with him, you ride with him. I'd be like, I don't want to ride with him. I was like, because I can't go to sleep and I got to entertain him. It was like I called it high profile babysitting. That's what I called it.
Okay.
That's nice.
All of us overdid our jobs, every last one on the team, but it was an amazing ride.
Yeah, Kim, that's great. Can we take a step back and can you kind of talk about your journey into hair, into makeup, and into the obviously the profession that you're in now? Tell us about your roots.
Oh, well, I'm the baby of 5.
Mhm.
I have 5 brothers, and so I'm the baby girl. But I actually feel like I'm the mama most of the time. So, um, uh, I, went to school, got straight A's and B's, and did my thing. My mother said, "I need you to graduate. Don't bring me no babies, and handle your business, and me and you gonna be fine." I said, "Okay, great." So when I graduated 12th grade, I brought my diploma home. I said, "Okay, look," I said, "I did everything you told me to do. I didn't bring no babies home." I said, and now I said I made straight A's. I graduated top 10% of my class. I said I'm taking a year off school. She was like, "What?" I said, "What the kids now calling a gap year." And I said, "Yeah, I'm taking a year off school." I said, "I need to find myself." She said, "Find yourself." She said, "Okay." And she said, "Let's see how this works out." So about 2 months into that journey, she said, "What you getting ready to do?" I said, "Uh, I'm chilling. I'm finding myself." She said, "Yeah. Um, it ain't but one queen live in this house." She says, "So you gonna go to school, you gonna get a job, or you got to get the hell out of my house?" I said, "Well, wait a minute." I was like, "Wait a minute." I said, "This wasn't part of the deal." And she said, "You heard what I said?" So I went stumping, walking up the street of one of the main drags in LA at Crenshaw Boulevard, walked down the street and saw Pacific Beauty College. And I looked up, saw it. I said, "Okay, let's go in here and see what they talking about." So never thinking ever wanted to do hair. I was like, let me just see what they talking about. So Mr. Goins, who was, my mentor, he wound up taking me around a tour of the school, and we going all around. And I was like, oh, this is really nice. And okay, maybe this might be something I might look into. And he took me into the office. He said, "Okay, here's some documents." He said, "Sign right here." I said, "Sign right here for what?" He said, "You here for a reason." He said, "You here, school starts tomorrow at 8 o'clock." I said, "No, I just came in here because my mother pissed me off. I just walked down the street and walked in." And he said, "No." He said, you gonna sign in." He said, "School starts at 8 o'clock. If you show up at 8:01, he said, don't come back for 30 days. He said, the door will be locked." He said, "Don't come with your smock dirty, with your shoes dirty." Like, he laid it down on the first day. I was like, "I don't even know you. Why you talking crazy to me?" And he said, yeah, he said, "You're gonna be fine, Barry. Don't worry about it. You're gonna be fine." I went home and took my packet in there to my mama, and I said, "Well, I go to beauty school. I hope you happy." And she looked at me and rolled her eyes. She said, "I hope you happy," and closed her door. Well, wait a minute. That wasn't what I was expecting. And so, what happened? So then I wound up going to beauty school. So my friends was calling me and they was like, "Kim, come on, we're going to Magic Mountain. Kim, come on, we're going to do this." "No, I can't go. I got to go to beauty school." So this program, what was supposed to be a year long, I did in 9 months. I did not miss a day. I stayed focused. I did not pause. I was like, I'm trying to get the hell out of here. I said, the only reason I'm here, if I don't go to school, my mama going to put me out. So I got to do this. Okay. And so, 6 months into the school year, we had a statewide competition with all the students from California and kids coming from everywhere. And I had half read the document. So it said head to toe competition. One of my homegirls that I went to high school with, spoiled rotten. Her mother had bought her like 8 prom dresses. And I was like, hey, let me use you for my model. Her hair was long. And she was like, okay. I said, I'm going to cut your hair off. And she was like, oh, that's all right. Okay. So she looking for something different to do. So we go to the competition. She walks in with this beautiful ball gown and gloves and earrings. But before I got there, the whole time I kept asking Miss Cooper, who was my teacher at the time, and I said, I think about Akilah and the Bee all the time. Akilah and the Bee, she said, everyone you come in contact with is your teacher, whether they are happy for you, being joyful for you, or if they sticking that thorn in your side like Peter in the Bible, right? It says, so I was like, Miss Cooper used to ask me every day, what you doing here? I said, I'm here because my mother making me come. She said, oh, okay. She said, well, by the time you leave here, you're going to be a hairstylist. I said, no, I'm not. I'm just here because my mother making me come. She said, yeah, okay. So we're doing this competition, and now I'm going, I cut my friend's hair off. I dyed it. I bleached it. I'm trying to get it this certain color. It turned orange. I was like, oh, my goodness. Then it turned green. And I was like, oh, my goodness. So I'm running to Miss Cooper, help me, help me. Miss Cooper said, no, go back to your book. I said, wait, but I see you around the school helping other people. And she said, I said, go back to your book. And I was like, oh my goodness. So now I got to figure out what cancels out green, what cancels out orange, So I'm just like, okay. So by the time I get through, I got these cheetah print spots all down the side of her head, same haircut like what I got now. We get to the competition. My friend walks in this beautiful purple gown on top of everything, right? And diamonds and everything. I said, oh, shoot now. So I look at the other young women that's there, that's models, and they got on jeans and T-shirts. And I'm just like, said, this is interesting. And so my friend said, Kim, did you notice on the paper it said head to toe competition, but nobody else is dressed head to toe? And I said, no, I didn't. All I saw was a hair competition. So I got the hair right? And so, but that's just God working in your favor, right? So I get there out of top 10, out of 200, I took second place in top 10. Top 10 come back on the second day, come back again. Boom, Kim Berry wins the competition. I was like, oh snap. I was like, they hand me this big big check, $500 check with a trophy. Hey. I said, oh. And my teacher walked over to me. She said, didn't I tell you I was going to turn you into a hairstylist? I said, yeah, whatever, Miss Cooper, whatever. I was like, oh my goodness. I said, and literally I left beauty school, went and worked for my sister-in-law and was assisting and went to another young lady's salon. My teacher used to always tell me quality and then quantity, never sacrifice one for the other. Right. Your first head needs to look as good as your last head. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, so speed was never my problem. So because I was so fast and so thorough, I made more money than some of the slowest stylists and some of the fastest stylists in the salon. Sure. And so, but my personality, my vibe, people wanted, like, I want her to do my hair. I want her to do my hair. And this was only in the assistant seat. This wasn't even being a full-time stylist. I'm still learning the game in beauty school. And so as I'm getting, more and more, polished and getting it together, I wind up getting my own chair. I said, I can do this. I got my own chair in LA. Got my own chair, started doing hair. And like I said, at the time I was dating Big Coco. Big Coco had been with all the top rappers in the industry and this, that, and other. He started working for Prince. So then when he was working with Prince, I used to be like, put me on, get me a job. Let me work in the office. I'll pick up the trash, whatever. He was like, nah, you don't want to do this. And I was like, yeah, I think I do. And he was like, no, you don't. And I was like, yeah, okay. And so, he wound up introducing me to Tanya, who was the hairstylist at the time. Prince, so it was big. So it was Earl before Tanya. Earl passed the baton to Tanya. Tanya had been with Prince 7 years, and she was like, "Girl, I'm tired. I think I want to go home." And I said, "What you mean you want to go home?" And she said, "I just don't want to do this no more." I said, What are you talking about? And she was like, I just don't like the job. I want to get married. I don't want to live with a suitcase, because being on the road is super hard. It is. You have to want to do that. That's not no easy job. It ain't for the faint at heart, And so, I'm on the outside looking in, fresh out of beauty school, and she said, yeah, I don't want to do this no more. And I was like, wow. And I said, it's got to be the greatest thing, And now they shooting a video. We talking. I forgot what video they were shooting, but I'm running. I'm in the wardrobe room. I'm helping press clothes. I'm anywhere, just trying to be down, And so she said, and my mother used to tell me all the time, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Be careful what you speak. And so I remember hanging around her all the time. Every time I come in the room, I see she got that hairspray, she got that comb, she got that brush. So
Yeah.
everything on her table, I started duplicating, never thinking
Mhm.
I would ever get the chance to do Prince. But I just started, if she's using it, she's a celebrity hairstylist, I want to use it, right? So I'm buying everything. Before I knew it, I had her whole table duplicated. So my dad used to raise us on success is when opportunity meets preparedness. When the
Yep.
opportunity presents itself, will you be
Yes.
prepared? And so she went, like I said, we were shooting a video. She was like, okay, Kim, I'll be back. I said, okay. She went in the room with Prince, went to go do
Mhm.
his hair. She combing his hair, and he didn't like what she was doing at the moment. He snatched the comb out of her hand, and she said, she said, you know what? She said, my lips is chapped from kissing your little black ass. I'm out of here. And see, Prince quit you. You don't quit Prince. And so he was like, oh, she just mad for the moment. She'll be back. She all right. So she packed her stuff and left. And so the next day they told her, tell Tanya to get the salon ready. And the bodyguards, everybody's like, Tanya left. And he said, what you mean Tanya left? They said Tanya got on a plane and left and went back to Minnesota. And so he was like, so you saying I'm out here with no hairstylist? Because he traveled around the world with his bodyguard and his hairstylist. And so they was like, yeah. So they had, he said, you better find me somebody. So they go in and they go to Germany. They leaving that day to go to Germany. So they get to Germany. They hire somebody. Prince hated him, wound up doing his own hair. They get on the plane. They come back to LA, and Coco has already started bragging on me. So then he tells me, look, bring your portfolio, because I had already been doing photo shoots with different makeup artists and other photographers getting my book ready. And so just on that sugar-free tip, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, right? So then he told me, meet us at the club on 3rd and La Cienega. My boy's going to let you in. So I got dressed up to the nines, got to the club, went on in, and they got him covered up like this. And so then they open up, and then here I come walking towards the table, and he looking at me like, who is this? So I laid my book on the table. I said, my name is Kim Berry. I said, I do hair. Give me the opportunity to do your hair. And so he flipping through the book. He said, so you do hair? I said, with his condescending self, I said, yeah. He said, you got a salon? I said, yeah. He said, go set it up. He said, tell them where it is. And so I'm like, okay, cool, man. So I'm leaving the club. I'm jumping. I go to the salon. I get everything hooked up. I already know how to black out the windows. I had been watching Tanya. I was on her. And so we get everything ready. And so about an hour later, the phone rang. Kim, yeah, this is Prince. I was like, he said, yeah, I ain't gonna make it. I was like, oh, I said, okay, well, no problem. Next time you come to LA, just know you got a hairstylist. He said, do you travel? Now, I ain't been out of Inglewood, let alone California, which is the next little city next to LA.
Yep.
I said, yeah. I was like, what the hell did I just say? Now, mind you, it's only 2 years after beauty school, okay? So I said, he said, we're sending a limo to come pick you up. The flight leaves in an hour. I said, okay. He said, is there a problem? I said, no, sir, ain't no problem. And if you ask everybody who worked for him, everybody got that right now interview. You ready to go? Because we finna do it. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I got you. So call my mama, and I'm screaming and hollering. I just talked to Prince. She said, stop lying. I said, no, I talked to Prince. So what happened? We screaming and hollering. And I said, wait a minute. I said, we've been on the phone 20 minutes. What I'm going to do? And she said, you're going to take your curling irons and your hairspray, put them in a bag, and you get to LAX. She said, when you get there, I'm going to send you a Western Union. That's how long ago that was. She said,
right.
She said, I'm going to send you a Western Union. You go to Target, buy you a duffel bag, put some clothes in it, and you keep moving. I said, okay, mama, okay. So I jumped in I look outside. It's a limo just pulled up. I'm like, oh, snap. This is happening. Get in the car. I'm all hyped. I'm telling the limo driver what's going on. He like, congratulations, So we all talking about it. We get to the airport. Prince and his brother Dwayne sitting in the front seat, and Prince looked up, hit me with the head nod. I was like, oh snap, this is happening. I sit down behind him. I'm like, oh my God, okay, this is happening. So then I go to sleep. I wake up. We in Minnesota. I said, oh, I see snow for the first time. I see Christmas lights. I'm like, oh, hey. So we pull up to Paisley Park. I'm like, it does exist. And so We get to the back door. I'm like, wow. So I had already heard from Coco that Paisley Park is the creative battleship. They got studios, they got kitchens, they got
Yeah.
everything that Prince needs. Prince can go in there and never ever have to come out. So I was just like, I already knew pretty much the lay of the land, but now that I'm experiencing this, a whole other vibe now. So what happened? So Dwayne takes me upstairs. He said, okay, Kim, go ahead and get set up. I was like, all right, cool. So I'm looking around. I see the purple rain jacket. I see, like the raspberry beret outfit. I see jewelry on the table. My mother raised us when you go in somebody else's house, you don't touch nothing, don't belong to you. I said, okay. So I come in there, I set my table up exactly the way Tanya had it. I had memorized that table so tough. Little did I know years later that Prince has OCD. So when you move stuff out of the way, you mess his vibe up. His whole thing is messed up. I remember one time I moved a brush off his table and he was like, where's my brush? And I said, you mean this brush on the other side of his hand? He said, don't do that. I knew that was there. I said, no, you didn't, but okay. I said, so I did Dwayne's hair. Dwayne said, okay, I'll be back. So then a female walks in. I'm like, okay. She's like, oh, I'm here to get my hair done. I'm like, all right. So another female walks in. Then another female walks in. I was like, okay. So now I'm 4 heads in. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. So his brother said, I said, I get it. This is the audition. His brother said, okay, Kim, we'll be back in a few minutes. So 1 hour go by, 2 hours go by. I said, what the hell? And I sat right there with my hands in my lap. I said, they think I don't know I got a camera on me. I did not move, sat in that chair. So finally, 2.5 hours, his brother stick his head in the door and say, you didn't steal nothing, did you? I said, first of all, my mom ain't raised no fools. I said, second of all, I got to go to the bathroom. Y'all play too much. Oh, you could have went to the bathroom. So he's like, okay. I said, this man's house, I ain't walking through here. I thought, he could take me to the bathroom. I come back. He said, okay, for real. He'll be in here in a few minutes. I said, don't you leave me sitting here another 2 hours. He said, no, I ain't going to do that to you. Sis, I ain't going to do that to you. So about 10 minutes later, Prince stick his head in the door and he says, hello. And I said, oh, you smaller than I thought. And I was like, oh shit, like that. And he started laughing. He said, yeah, you got the job. He said, but you're gonna have to leave them nails at home because I had long curved nails like Coco from
Right.
and I used to comb hair with my fingernails. And he said, yeah, you can't have that in my head. I'm tender-headed. I said, oh, okay. Click, 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 click. And he said, oh my God, you are so funny. And we started laughing. He said, okay, go back to the hotel. We leaving for Miami in the morning. I said, you're not gonna get your hair done? He said, no, don't worry about me. I'll let you know when I'm ready. And that man took me to 4 or 5 different cities. We were Chicago, Atlanta, all over the place. And I was like, what is going on? I called my mom. I said, I don't know what's happening. He's not getting his hair done. So I'm doing everybody else in the band hair, but not his. And I said, I don't know. She said, did he tell you to go home? I said, no, then keep rolling.
Keep going,
I said,
right?
okay. So we getting ready to go to New York. And his brother said, okay, Kim, time is ready. Get the salon ready when we get to New York. I said, okay, I already knew about time. You get the private salon, black the windows out. Let's do this. Let's do this. His brothers was like, let me give you the rules. Don't look him in the face. I said, what? I said, how the hell I'm going to do his hair and can't look him in his face?
Right,
and I'm telling you, Kim, these is the rules. So that was like, whatever. So then they like, don't touch his ears. Don't spill no water on him. Don't burn his hair. Don't do this. So they gave me a whole list. I said, hey, stop talking to me. Wow. I've been doing y'all hair for 3 weeks now. Everybody hair look good. Y'all made it, right? So we get to New York. Prince comes in the salon. We do our normal presentation. So his hair is long and flowing, right? And he said, yeah, I need to cut. He said, I want it like yours. And I said, oh, okay. He said, I need to need some color. I need a relaxer. He said, so we get our consultation over. I said, okay, have a seat. So I get his perm on, get him to the bow. Everybody be like, oh, didn't Prince have good hair? No, that brother had juices and berries. Do you hear me? I said, so Kim made that hair good. Okay. So he sits in the bowl. The hose jumps out of my hand and it's swinging all over the room. Water done went all down this man's face. I am drowning him. I'm like, oh my God. So I turned the water off. I give him a towel. He tapped in his face. He said, he looked up at me. He said, "You good?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." I said, "That never happens to me. I don't know what happened." He said, "All right." He said, "I know you're nervous." He said, "But I need you to slow down." I said, "Okay."
Right.
So I get him in the chair. I put this color on his ears. Put this color on his hair. I dropped color on his ears. So I went to touch his ears. Girl, he jumped out the way. I said, "Oh, don't touch his ears." Okay, that part right. I said, so he gets the color off. So then we get him in the chair. I cut him up. We getting ready to curl his hair. Boom, hit him in the top of the head with the curling iron. I said, "Oh my God." He turned around, looked at me. He said, "You good?" I said, "I'm good. I'm sorry, sir. We gonna get through this." Right? Get him all curled up. He stands up, he crosses his little beard in the mirror. He said, "Yeah, this gonna work." He said, "Your car waiting for you outside." I said, "Okay." And he turned around on them little heels and disappeared. I said, "What the hell?" I said, "What the?" My mama like, "I just did Prince's hair." She was like, screaming and hollering. I was like, "Oh my God." So then I said, "Wait." I said, he just said the car wait downstairs. I said, what that? She said, "Did he tell you to go home?" "No." "Then keep rolling."
Right.
And that was the most. I was with him for some of the highs of the highs and some of the lowest of the lows. 29 years rolling with rock royalty. Like, it was an amazing journey.
I'll tell you, that's one of the main themes we hear. Like when Steve Park first joined forces around the same time that you did, he told us that, he was doing all this work and wouldn't hear a word about anything. And I think it was Levi Caesar or something that said to him, did he tell you to stop?
Right.
Like you said, Kim, there's a common theme among a lot of people that have worked in and around his circle. And that seems to be one that comes, whether it's Griff, whether it's whoever it is. Hey, did he tell you to leave? No.
Yeah.
Keep going.
People say, "Well, Prince, don't talk to me." People who were new to the camp or whatever. And I used to be like, "You ever heard that old saying that the closer to the sun you get burnt?" They was like, "Yeah." I said, "You don't want him to talk to you, okay?" That's how long you gonna keep your job. Most people who work for Prince had a 1 year, 2 year max.
Right.
If you got to stay longer than that, he was feeling you. When Kirk, Sheila, Morris Hayes, like longevity. We was there. You know what I'm saying?
You and Morris. Yeah. Basically, you and Morris are the two, musically, he hung in there for 21. You, however, 29. Since you were, but hold on a second. Since you were 18, you just became an adult, right?
No, that's and there you are. Inglewood, yes. I was fresh out of Beautiful. Yep. And so it was just amazing. And the first client I get is the biggest entertainer in the world, Prince Nelson. Come on, son. Like what kind of favorite? I said, God could have chose anybody, but he chose me, and there were other hairstylists that came and went in between, because people are always saying that, "Oh yeah, well, you don't give credit to the other hairstylists." I put a lot of people on, and I blessed people with some opportunities to come work for Prince. But guess who he always called back? Him. And people ask me, what was it about you that you think that kept coming back? I said, the God in me saw the God in him, and he needed that around him. He had enough yes men around him. And Kim didn't play that. I was like his little raw little sister. I was like B from Good Time. What's happening?
What's happening? Yep.
I'm telling Mama. One time he told me, he said, "You and your mama got the 911 hookup with God. I can feel those prayers." I said, "And you better get yourself together then." I said, but I mean, it was just like I said, I didn't have time. And quite frankly, like a lot of the fans asked me, "Were you in love with Prince? Like you touched his hair?" I was like, I didn't see him like that. He was like another one of my brothers. And so I remember one time Jamie Foxx came into the studio, and then I'm looking like, "Ooh, Jamie Foxx." And so he's like, "Really, Kim?"
Hey, hold on a second. He was a church boy too. I mean, he and a hell of a musician, and a hell of a musician.
Jamie Foxx is a star. You can't deny.
Come on, man.
Yeah. And so one time we were at the Charlie Chaplin Studios in Hollywood, and Prince was recording a music video in there. It was part of the 3121 movie that never got released.
That never got released, right?
Now it's out. That is they done sold everything. But we were shooting part of the video in there, and DJ Quick walks across the glass panel, and I was like, "Oh, I go DJ Quick." And Prince looked at me and said, "Really, Kim?" I was like, "Wait a minute, I'll be right back. I had to go over there and get that brother my car." I was like, "Hey, I'm next door working on Prince." you need your hair done. Here, call me.
Listen, you got to keep hustling. You got to keep.
Right. You have to.
I said I didn't hustle hard enough because I took it for granted that Prince was gonna always be here,
Yeah.
and so Prince kept a low profile, so I stayed in the background. I was like the mom and them used to tell us, kids are supposed to be seen and not heard. So I stayed to the back. Every now and then you see Prince pull me to the front, and be like, "You met my hairstylist, Kim Berry." He'll introduce me to different celebrities. Hey, you met my hairstylist. This my oh, this is my hairstylist, Kim Berry. She's from Compton. I said, stop telling people I'm from Compton. I was like, I don't live in Compton. He'd be like, it's okay, Kim. It's part of the mystique. I said, wait a minute. Maite get to live in Egypt. Manuela get to live in France. Kim got to be in Compton? I said, nah, bro, you going to give me something else. I was like, everybody else get a fancy place, but Kim I told him, I said, you watch too much music videos, bro. I'm gonna need you to upgrade where you think I live.
Oh my God.
But I mean, too much. He was a personal joker, but he loved people, and he always saw the good in you. He would try to pull the best out of you. Yeah. He called me the grandmom in the group, so he used to always have me taking care of everybody. If the band was arguing with each other, he'd be like, "Kim, go fix it." I'd be like, "Kim, go fix it." What the hell? I said these people older than me, and he's like, "No, Kim, just go fix it." Like he told me, he said he's an A to Z type of person. He said A is when he get up in the morning, Z is when he get to the stage. He said he don't want to know about nothing in the middle. Just get me to the stage. Yep. And I'm like, okay, so people like, I'll be outside his room. Let's say the bodyguards walk away and then somebody come. Oh, we got a problem. We got to talk to Prince. I said, ain't nobody going in this door. I said, and it's right before showtime. I said, it's me against you. I said, so if you want to lose your job, I said that me and you going to have a fight in this hallway. I said, but ain't nobody going in this room. I said, until it's time for Prince to go on stage, because it was get me to the stage. I don't care. I said, so you got to go figure out how to fix your lights or how to fix the fans or how to fix whatever need to be fixed here. That's what you better go do. And it don't matter how much it costs. Let them worry about it on the back end. But don't you come in this room talking no crazy stuff like that with the lady on the wheel say, don't nobody bring me no bad news. Don't you bring no bad news up in here because you finna mess the whole night up. So I was the protector as well, his prayer warrior, his confidant. I listened to music before it got released. I remember one time we was in the studio and he was playing some song. I can't remember what it was, but it was, kind of sad and, down. I was like, He was like, oh, you ain't feeling that? Okay. So then he came back the next day. We doing his hair again. And he playing something. I'm bobbing my head. He said, oh, you bobbing your head. That's a hit. Let's go. And so he's like, Kim, I need you to come in the studio. And I said, for what? And he was like, I need some extra voices. I got to layer on the voices. And I said, I can't sing. He said, I can make you sound like whatever I need you to sound like. I said, what? I said, okay. And so we go downstairs. And next thing I know, I'm on the song, Get Freaky. Let your head bob.
That one. Okay.
Yep.
I was like, I need my royalty credits. I need my credits.
Right.
Oh, man.
But when I tell you, then when I heard the song, I'll be telling everybody, that's me. I'm on there. That's me.
But so that new Power Soul album, right?
Yeah,
Talk about that for a second, because you tell real funny stories about him dressing up as because he told you last minute they were going to film that video for Come On.
The old man.
And he had to get you an old man wig and an old man beard and all that.
He's like, Tim, go get me a wig. And I said, well, what? He said, I need a beard. I said, you need a what? So I said, me and Debbie, we run off to the costume store. I was like, all right, I got to get him a beard. So I get him a little beard. We figured that out. And then I said, okay, we're going to get him a little salt and pepper, little wig. And he said, we get to the park. And I was like, he going to be the, what did he say? Tell Manuela, let me be the butter to your muffin or something.
Right.
So we sit there like, it was like, and everything was last minute. Go get a camel, pull it out the sky. Go get me a zebra. Go get me like he would just at the last minute. Like one day he was like, so he liked to roller skate, right? So he's like, I think I'm going on stage and I'm roller skating. I said, you finna do what? He was like, he said, go get my skates. I'm finna go roller skate. So he had his own custom made roller skates, everything. So he said, but I need to skate around the auditorium, but nobody gonna know who I am. I said, what? So now I got to go in the closet and get him another wig. So now he done came out with the little bob wig with the thing. He done put on the little pointy glasses.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He on stage and he just a strumming. But before he was skating through the arena and they didn't even know it was him. He was skating right past them. I said, Only Prince, only Prince.
My
I was like, it's
goodness.
never a dull moment. Like every day, you had to be on your toes because you didn't know which way he was gonna send you. That's like with the buckwheat braids, and we had just finished his
Oh
hair.
yeah.
Hair was flowing, beautiful, fresh parent, fresh color. He was fly. We walking down the hall. He said, "I think I want my hair braided." I said, "You
That's
what?"
yeah.
I said, wait a minute now. He said, I said, oh, you want me to part it and put pretty, straight lines? And he said, no, nah, just pick it up and plait it. I just, my cousin used to wear hair like this. Just pick it up and plait it. I said, yeah, okay. He said, go find Steve Parks. I want to do a photo shoot. I said, what? I said, okay. So now we sitting in the middle of the atrium outside the kitchen to Paisley Park, and I'm
Yep.
braiding his hair. Steve on the side. He said, we should tell Steve to take a picture of you braiding my hair. And I said, yeah, we should. Before the sentence got finished, Steve done fired off 2 rounds. Bye-bye, I got you.
Right
Okay.
now. Yeah.
So now, I'm doing Prince hair. And I said, oh, your hair looks so cute. I was being sarcastic. I said, all you need is some pretty bow reps. And he said, oh, yeah, go upstairs and tell wardrobe, because he had a whole wardrobe department upstairs. He
Right.
said, go tell them to give me ribbons. And I said, ribbons for what? He said, I'm going to put them in my hair. I said, so we doing buckwheat plaits now. He said, just go get me some ribbons. And so he said, and tell them I need them for every outfit I put on.
Yeah.
I said, oh, hell. So I go upstairs. I open the door. I said, hey, Prince has on a peach outfit. I said, he wants ribbons for everything from now on. Give me a slice of material that I can do ribbons from now on.
Yeah.
And they were like, what the hell? I said, don't ask me no questions. Just give me the material.
Right.
So we go downstairs. I plait the ribbons into his hair, and Lord have mercy. So they did the photo shoot. He looked just as majestic with his little plaits in his hair as he did with any other hairstyle. And next thing you know, what? That's the album cover to Rave Until the Joy
Rave.
Fantastic.
Right.
And I'm just and my friends are calling me. They like, Kim, what the hell? And I said, hey, if he tell me to stand it up and paint it purple with green
You'll do
tips,
it.
I'll give this man what he wants. Like, he want to wear buckwheat braids, I'm going to let him wear buckwheat braids. I said, I don't give, long as the check cash on Friday, I don't care about nothing else.
Hey, how about that? How about that?
Yeah.
So what was all the different, and I know it's, I've heard you in many interviews, naming your favorite hairstyles, trying to like naming one of your favorite kids because you've done so many different hairstyles for him. But do you have one that's like, man, that's timeless? He could wear that in any decade. Like, there was a certain style, like, man, he could just stop with that hairstyle and that could just define him for the rest of his life. Is there one that you
I loved his shortcuts. I was particular about his shortcuts because I specialize in shortcuts, and so I love cutting his hair short. But his hair would grow so fast, and so I said,
Really?
"What beans do you have? Because baby, this hair is back already." But I loved his big free flowing feather as well. Like that was just like we grew his hair out for the 1999 concert, right? And then literally the next day he came in after the concert and we doing his hair. He said, I need you to cut it all off. I said, what? I said, we just grew this hair out. He said, Kim, cut it off. I'm going to cut it for you. I said, oh, he said, I just need to look good while I was playing my guitar. I said, what the hell? I was like, Lord, only Prince, because we knew that 3 months he was going to have a whole new set of hair back on his head.
Right.
So he didn't care. So
I was going to say, he's an artist. He likes change, and you were the perfect agent of change for his.
He wasn't afraid, and he wore any hairstyle known to woman. If it was, he kept magazines from overseas. So if it was short here, he wanted to go long. If it was long, here, then everybody's wearing long hair. Like when they said, "Oh, the Halle Berry haircut," he said, "Why they calling it the Halle Berry haircut? I wore it before she did." He was like, "We're not calling it the Prince," and I said, "Right? Why are they not calling it the Prince?" And so, it was just funny. So he was just a practical joker, but that brother was not afraid of change. He would rock any hairstyle known, like he didn't give a damn if a woman had, and then he knew that whatever he wore, like them buckwheat braids. We got to the concert that week. All the ladies in the front row had them braids in their hair. He looked at me and said, "See, Kim, did not tell you. I said, you need to go tell them, girl, don't encourage him. Don't come here with that hairstyle."
No. Honestly,
Kim, speaking of that, can you take us through your collaborative process when you're working with a client? I mean, is it again, collaborative? Are you working with the client and do they tell you what they want? Do you make recommendations? And not just with Prince, I mean with any of the clients that you're working with?
Oh, absolutely. It's always definitely a consultation. It is you want to know what's the event they're going to. Let me see the dress. Let me see the neckline. So all of this needs to go into play. So I have to take all of that into consideration depending on what hairstyle they're getting. So I always tell people, if you point me in the right direction, I can get you the rest of the way. I
Hmm.
said, and what I come up with is going to always be magic. So I remember one time Prince went outside and brought a flower back in, and he was like, can you make my hair this color? And it was this weird orange color. And I said, oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Sit down and have a seat. I got you, boss. And so we wound up giving him these orange highlights in his hair. It wound up being amazing. And
They look
so
great.
I just tell everybody, I'd be like, okay, tell me what you want. What's the vibe? What are we looking for? What are we trying to get to? What's the look that you want to have? And they like, oh, I want to look regal, or I want to look fancy free, so I want to be flowing, or so I just get the cue words from the client, and then I just take it to the next level. And so that's the joy of being a trendsetter and being able to, just stay on top of your game, and keep creating that next hot
Yeah.
look,
Hmm.
Yeah.
because you got it on that it girl, even when I did Chloe Bailey's hair for Swarm, I
Yeah.
worked on her, and
Oh, right. Right.
twisted those dreadlocks up into those beautiful hairstyles. Like, you have to be ready for any and everything. So it's like, oh, people are like, oh, you do locks? Of course I do locks. I do dreads. I do haircuts. I do everything. You know what I'm saying? So nobody can lock me in a box. It's like I'm well rounded, and that's what one of the beautiful things I took away from Pacific Beauty College with Mr. Cedric Gowen as my mentor, that I can do everything. There is no one box you can lock
Mm.
me in.
So, Kim, can you take us through, because you do a lot of celebrity clients, can you take us through what happened to you during COVID
I was
when
going to add. Yeah.
everything shut down? Can you talk
Oh man.
about that process?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just everything. Because right before that, I had just got into the local 706 hairstyling union, and man, when
Oh.
I tell you, we was rolling, and I was working on every show. I would work 2 and 3 shows at a time. So then, when COVID hit, it shut everybody down, and that was the scariest process because we didn't know what was happening. And when I saw them. No celebrities could move. No, not they didn't care how much money you had. I was like, they really can't shut this whole world down. I'm like, that is scary. I
Yeah.
said, but at the time, also, I was also a caretaker for my mother. So
Oh.
that took up that interim time, to be at home with mom, and my main concern was to make sure that she didn't get sick. And
Right.
so that
Right.
I kind of love that anyway, is to make sure that I was on point, and whoever was here with us in the house did not bring any extra germs in the house, because we didn't know.
Right.
Right.
But that was the longest period of my life. It was like
Mm.
COVID hit, and then we got back to work, and then the strike. I think, was it the strike?
Oh, yeah. No, I think you're right. Yeah. The
Yeah.
strike happened after
And
that.
then
Yeah.
and it was just like, I was like, God, you got jokes. Like, what is going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then right after that, my mom passed, and it was
Oh,
just like,
goodness.
Mm.
what in
Sorry.
the world? And I was like, Lord help me. And I saw another quiet period. And so it's just, the great part about it is, once we got towards the end of COVID, I still was able to do my clients on the low. Of course, I couldn't tell them to tell a bunch of people, but there was a few people that, and I call them my bread and butter girls. So they came through the back door, and
Yeah.
and we got it done. So that
Hey,
kept the money flowing into my pocket. Yeah.
can't
Right.
And
can't
said,
can't
but
fault you for that.
Right. Not
no,
at
you
all.
and the great part about having a cosmetology license is I can take it anywhere in the world and do whatever I needed to do. And so yeah, it just was a quiet time, and it was just like the area of uncertainty was just so scary.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. So, I'm sorry, Kurt, go ahead.
No, no, that's
Kim, on a personal note, I have a daughter who's in beauty school right now, one of my daughters, and she is learning hair and she's learning cosmetology and she's graduating in June. What advice would you give to people? You obviously you've been doing this for years. What advice would you give to the new grads who are coming out of school?
Hmm. Uh, get your Instagram tight. You want to have an Instagram that states your page. This is my page, says Kim Berry on set. Everybody knows They can go to find me anywhere on any platform on Kim Berry on set. Once I found out that you're the brand, you have to push you. So it should not be Kim B, super hair cutter of the world, 1955. No, 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 no. That's too much. Nobody can find that. So you need to streamline it and let it be something catchy and something quick. Your Instagram is now your new portfolio. So you can have another Instagram page with just, you with the girls and you hanging out, but one page needs to be dedicated to your business and what it is that you do. You need to have a website that they can go look at, because online is your new portfolio. Like I told you when I first met Prince, I walked my portfolio into. Right. Everybody had to have a portfolio at that time.
Yeah.
With hard pictures inside the books to show your work, because you were only as good as your last look. You know what I'm saying? And so if I had nothing, if I walked in there to Prince and had nothing to show him, what would make him be like, oh, you a hairstylist? Oh, you can hook me up. Well, now he sees the manifestation of my work. You know what I'm saying? So now it made a difference to him to be like, okay, go set it up. You see what I'm saying? Because I was prepared. So I would definitely say you definitely need an online presence. You definitely need to be have your website. Instagram is your new portfolio, so that anybody can pull it up, because now when they call you, they like, what's your Instagram? So let me see your work. And so that's one of the main things. So you want to not only new, old, or indifferent, I'm working with a team of people right now where I'm doing photo shoots every month, because we got to keep that work fresh. We got to keep that work tight. And you just want to just keep your skills sharpened and always be, because it's always somebody coming out and doing it hotter and greater and newer and faster. You want to be in that elite. I have a book out right now. My book is called A Brush of Brilliance, which is talking about how to become a celebrity hairstylist. So they can go on my page on Kim Berry on Set and hit the link and get the book on there. But what I talk about is not only it's something about the favor of God. Because like I said, when the favor of God is on your life, nobody can stop you. Not even the gates of hell can stop you from doing what God has set forth in your life. You gotta be. I read affirmation books all the time. I'm all about speaking positivity into my life. Reading my Bible, because you're gonna need to be prayed up, baby, because this here industry got some demons in it. You understand me? And I tell people like, oh, when I get rich, when I get famous, when I get this, I say, you better have God before you get there. I said, because baby, the higher levels is you got to deal with bigger devils. So you got to be ready. And it's so interesting that in this entertainment industry, I tell people, the more I find out about it, kind of the less I like it. I said, but it says in the Bible that the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. So we got to go get it. We got to be amongst them. And one of my pastors had told me, he said, I need you to go and take the word where I can't go. He said, don't everybody try to, when you learn the word of God and you're trying to get up on this podium and be a minister here, he said, this is not where God needs you. And so me and Prince talked about that too. He said, if God came back to the world, he said, what church do you think he would belong to? Said he wouldn't belong to any church. I said he walked the highways and the byways. He dealt with the murderers and the tax people and the people who were lowly, to other people. He dealt with those people. You see what I'm saying? So he stayed around, kept company with the people who could get the word out. Who do you say I am? So now you have to go tell the word of God to these people. And so that's what I do. I take the word into the darkness. And so it's unfortunate, but we do. The world is a dark place. And so we're light, unto the earth. We're salt unto the earth. I bring the flavor. So when I walk in, I'm my rambunctious self. I know when to tone it down, but I also know when to be me. And I'm gonna be me unapologetically, Kim Berry. So, and that's just one thing. You gotta have your personality, but you gotta know when your client is in a good mood. There used to be sometimes. What I say, judge the room, know how to judge the room. Right. So there will be some times when Prince will walk in the room and he wouldn't say a word to me. them the quickest 8 curls he ever got in his life. You hear me? I said, because I know on them days he wasn't playing around. I call that the mean twin. Because he was a Gemini, so the mean twin. I call him Hollywood. So when Hollywood walk in, I'll be like, yeah, Hollywood here today. I ain't fucking with him. I'm like, okay. So I'll be like, I get done with his hair. He said, "Oh, you done?" I said, "Yep, you good. Go on, see you later, boss." And so I go somewhere in the office and hide. And he 2-3 hours later, he'd be like, "Anybody seen Kim? Like, where Kim at?" And they like, "Well, we don't know. They gotta go find." I come sticking my head out the office because that be the day you're gonna get fired for no reason. You understand me? So, but you have to know the ebb and the flow. Once again, you have to learn your client. Don't always come in rah-rah, because every day ain't gonna be no rah-rah day. Right. Some days gonna be like, some days Prince walk in, we laughing, joking, bagging on each other's mamas. And then some days he walk in, he ain't gonna say a word. And I ain't gonna say a word. We're gonna get this hair done and get him good and conditioned and juiced up, and we're gonna send him on out into the world. You see? And so you have to learn how to learn your clients. You have to know how to read the room, and all of these, skills is in the book, A Brush of Brilliance. So you'll be able to learn this. And there's even a 30-minute phone call you can get with me, and I'll sit and talk with you and give you any insider tips and anything that I can, anything that you might want to learn. So, that's going to be the next level is classes, so I'll be doing classes online, and I got part 2 of Diamonds and Curls is coming out. So I broke Diamonds and Curls into a 3-part series. So 3121 was Prince's number, which equaled the number of 7, which is completion in God, right? So I did 3 books on 1 diamond, 7 chapters each, 21 chapters total. And so and I stretched it out between every 10 years. So that when I ended was when him and Maite was on the outs and Manuela was coming in. Mm-hmm. So this is where the book will pick up. You see what I'm saying? So I tell people, look forward to part 2. So it's about to go down.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Kurt.
So this is a timely subject. So is it a month ago now that the documentary that Ezra Edelman was to have put out was canceled. Were you at all a participant in like getting interviewed by the team that put the doc? Yeah, I know. And was the line of questioning suspicious from the get-go if you were interviewed? Because folks that we spoke to, Hucky Austin, just did not.
Big Coco,
Big Coco, just knew that there was a line of questioning that just they didn't. It looked like. What was your opinion on the whole thing? How did it go down for you, Kim?
It was comfortable at first, okay. Yeah, and so I even had it set up at the salon where I worked at the time, RVM salons in Wilshire. So they actually came, to me and had, a bunch of different people come there and be taped. But the more the questioning went on, the more they kept trying to get me to say Prince was a drug addict. Prince was a drug addict, right? Oh, he would redo the questioning. Prince was a drug addict. I said, let me explain something to you. I said, I don't care how many times you ask this question, you're not going to get me to say Prince was I said, so don't edit my words. Don't doctor my speech. I said, don't do anything because I will sue you. I said, I'm telling you now, don't put me on tape saying Prince was a drug addict. That's not what I'm here for. Now you want to talk about anything else and say whatever we need to say. I said, then that's what we'll do. And so I knew that just from my line of questioning, how ugly it was going to get. When I spoke to Abby Franklin, who was also one of Prince's wardrobe people, same thing with her. And so we had talked to each other after it was over with. And she told me, she said, was they drilling you? Was they trying to get you? I said, yeah, it tried to get ugly. And I said, yeah, I'm not having it. I said, I'm going to tell you about the good times. We're going to talk about, he was even had asshole moments at some time, but for who? When he was a human being. Who didn't?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't, right.
He put his pants on one leg at a time, but that man was responsible for a whole lot of people. So he had to be business at all times. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I like I said, I love to see him work. It was amazing to see him grow from one pinnacle to the next.
Sure.
And just to see how he ran his business and how he did things, it was absolutely amazing. He used to tell us to bring our kids on tour with him. We took our kids. My daughter got to travel around the world with me. Brought my mother, and different family members with me to the concerts. It was just beautiful. And I wouldn't trade nothing for my journey. But yeah, Netflix tried to put a nail in his coffin. So I knew they was gonna have problems.
Yeah.
And when they said they had 9 hours of footage and that was after cutting it down, I said, "Oh, I said, okay. I said, yeah. So I had a feeling that it wasn't going to get too far.
Do you even feel that a documentary needs to be made, if at all any? I mean, I see like recently, Questlove put out the documentary on Sly Stone, which I thought was very well done. It was a little brief overview and stuff like that. Somebody like Spike Lee, who actually knew Prince, or somebody like that. What are your opinions going forward? I mean, the estate's gonna put out a documentary, right? That seems like it's gonna for sure
They have to
happen.
get control of it. Yeah. Yeah. I said Spike Lee would be perfect to do that.
Same. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it everybody wants to know. And I think they want to know something different from what everybody else has already told,
Right.
And so that'll be interesting to see who will bring that dynamic to the table,
Yeah.
uh he was an amazing musician. Like I said, to see him grow and learn, and even though he was the teacher, he didn't mind being the student. He was the dopest person ever. We would battle back and forth on Bible verses. When he became a Jehovah Witness, he was like, "Kim, you scared to go to Jehovah Witness to the Jehovah Witness Hall, whatever it's called, Kingdom Hall?" I'm like, "No, I ain't scared. Let's go." And so at one point, he had told everybody, "Whoever don't change your religion and come with me," he said, "you're gonna get fired." And I said, "Okay, well, I guess you're finna fire me then." He was like, "What?" And he was like, "Kim, no, come on now. You need to learn and you need to come be a part of this." And I said, "I can grow and learn with you. I don't have to change my religion to be a part of whatever you got going on." I said, "But I would go to the Bible studies. The Bible studies were amazing. They broke the Bible down to the T. They had young children in there that knew about the maps and the road that Jesus walked and all this type of stuff. It was amazing to see it go down." But I was like, "Not changing my religion to if I can't hang out with you no more, then so be it. I can't hang out with you." And he's like, Kim, and I'm like, "Hey, whatever. It is what it is." So when he said he saw he couldn't push you over, he wouldn't fool with you. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the good part about it. But most of some of the band members would run and hide, and they would leave and wouldn't come back. And I thought everybody was going to the study with me. I said, "Well, they gone. They're not answering their phone. I don't know what to tell you." So guess what? Me and Ruth, who was his personal assistant at the time, would be sitting up in Kingdom Hall with Prince, getting our word. And I was like, "All right, well, let's go. I come back. I feel better afterwards. I done got the word. All right." And so one day we got into an argument, and I said, "What's the big deal? Why they calling us outsiders?" I said, "Why? What's the big deal?" And I said, "Are we arguing over the name?" He said, "If I walked in your father's house and didn't call him by his name," I said, "My father goes by many names. He called my daddy, Pops, 99, Duck, Donald, Sir." I said, "We call him many names, but whatever you call him, he's going to answer." I said, "Just like God has many names." And I said, "I know that he's Jehovah Rapha, he's Jehovah Nisi, he's Jehovah Shalom." I said, I got that. I said, "But that's what we arguing about. It's his name. That's why what makes that religion better than this religion." And I said, "That's why when we talked about that, if God came back, what religion would he belong to? He wouldn't belong to any of them. Man separated us. Yeah. God was one love. That's all. That was the bottom line." And he'd be like, Kim. And every time I stump him on something. And so if it was something that I didn't know, I'd go back and call my pastor. "Hey, pastor, where's the scripture that says da 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 da?" And then I go back to Prince the next day and be like, "Oh, scripture Matthew 7 says da da da." And so we would battle, Kim, And so it was just amazing. And like I said, even though he was the teacher, he didn't mind being a student. He was a dope individual like that.
Yeah, when Damon Dixon was on with us, he talked about long after he wasn't in the NPG anymore, he'd get a random call from that blocked number, and right away he'd know who the voice was on the other end of the line. "What are you doing? You want to come by Paisley and just hang out and talk?" And he said at one point he had to shut Prince down, saying something like, "You mean to tell me the lessons that my mama taught me
Right.
are
Are wrong?
As like, oh, okay. So you brought mom
Yeah.
in, mom brought mom in.
Right.
So the lessons that my mom taught me, you tell me that's not true." So
Yes.
he kind of, but it was in a half kidding kind of way, with
Yes.
a sense of humor, because I know he would crack Prince up like you did. Yeah, you always
Yeah.
had to find a way to get that humor in there, because that's how you try to keep things real. It's just that you're going to have arguments and discussions about all kinds of stuff. They always taught me when I was a kid, never discuss religion and politics. Something those two subjects are kind of hard to avoid these
Right. These
days.
days,
But
right. Right.
but how about that? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Prince used to get excited about the word of God. He'll jump up out of
yeah,
his chair and be like, yeah. And then God said, and then the word said, I'll be like, boy, you better get it. I'll be like, what? I mean, it was exciting to be in the room when he had a point to prove. Like, man, he loved God. He loved
yeah,
his walk. He wanted everybody around him. Like Oprah Winfrey said one day, when you get it, you want everybody around you to get it.
Hmm.
But everybody don't
hmm
come into it at the same time as
right,
you do. So a lot of
Right.
things
Right.
that he was saying, people thought he was off or off kilter. Oh,
yeah,
he tripping. He on one today.
yeah,
But he had a deeper understanding. He used to tell me all the time. He said he knows that he is a being that's being downloaded by God, and to bring music, light, and love into the world. He said, I know that one day that this will stop. He said, and when the music stops, that I'll cease to exist. And
mm.
yeah, he said,
Oh my dear,
he said, when it was time that he had made his peace with God, that he had did everything that God sent him here to do, and that it was time for him to go home. He said, I'm done. He said, Kim, ain't nobody rock like us, right? He said, no, sir. He said, we did the damn thing, traveled the world many times over. I said, yep. He said, don't try to save me, Kim. It's too late. He said, this has been happening for a long time. That's why I said when we started the interview, and I said the whole get down about Angie Stone, and I'm like, and it just brought all those memories
yeah,
flooding back again, and
Sure.
I'm
yeah.
just like, it's some artists, painters, singers, songwriters, you know, writers, poets, everybody. Those are the ones that come to save the world, to keep us
Yeah,
together. You know what I'm saying? In the
Yep.
midst of all this craziness, man, it's just
yeah,
we need people like Angie Stone. We need people like Prince and
we do.
Spike Lee, and
Absolutely.
you know,
What was that shirt that came out when Prince passed? It said, ever since Prince died, shit's been weird,
Right.
right? And
Right.
yeah,
honestly,
It's true.
yeah,
these last 10 years, or almost 10 years now, 9 years, but we are sorry for your loss, because you had a relationship
Of course.
and were in there for a long, long time. And he was a member of your family. That is abundantly clear in your Diamonds and Curls book, in your conversations and interviews that you've had. And we are heartfelt sorrow and sympathies to you, Kim. Loss is loss,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
and
And we
People
certainly
like,
don't
oh,
take that for
you had
granted.
your 5 minutes of fame. Go sit down somewhere. You were just his hairstylist. I said, you wish I was just his hairstylist.
Yep.
I said, I was closer than any brother could have ever been. He put his family down and didn't want to be nowhere around his blood relatives. He
right?
said he created the family he wanted around him with
Yeah,
Morris and
yeah,
Kirk and Damon and Big
yeah,
Coco and Joey and Hucky. All of these
yeah,
people came into his life
yeah.
at the time, and we protected him like he was God himself. You know what I'm saying? And it was a beautiful experience. It's funny how after he died, people turned on each other like rabid dogs, And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I never would have thought, because while we were all in the trenches together,
Hmm.
everybody was cool and loving on each other, because we needed each other, because nobody had the experience that we were having. Nobody could attest to what we were doing with Prince Rogers Nelson. And we were the ones that we were the glue that kept him together. You know what I'm saying? And so it was just beautiful to be a part of that. And it was sad at the end to see each other for them to turn on each other and
Sure.
against me as well. So, but it's all good because, like I said, not even the gates of hell can keep me from it. So,
Yeah.
I'm doing film and television now, and
Yeah.
you know, I've worked on great shows like Grey's Anatomy and Upshaws and Abbott Elementary, was just won
Oh,
Best
wow.
Hairstyle.
Yeah.
And so it's just an amazing ride. Like I wouldn't trade nothing for my journey. God is so amazing. And he just keeps, like it says your latter shall be greater than your former. I said, well, God, the first half of my life was so dope, then you must be really finna show out now. So
Right.
I can't wait to see what's yet to come. So I'm just excited and loving life, man. And like
Great.
I said, I get to still walk amongst these great giants that's here on this earth. And
Yep.
it's a beautiful vibe.
Yeah.
Excellent. What are you up to recent? I mean, I did want to ask you with the LA fires that recently have happened. I don't know where you are living currently. You're in California still. I'm taking. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you affected by the fires in LA directly, or I mean, I'm sure you have friends who were
Well,
affected,
they
but
shut down the industry because, of course, people are losing their homes and couldn't come to work.
yeah.
But I think it's in the center of LA. So everything was happening up on the hills on the side,
Yeah.
30 to
Okay.
40 minutes away from me.
All
So
right.
I was good. So, but yeah, shutting down the industry again and just drying up the work. And it's so sad, because like I said,
Yeah.
uh, Governor Newsom is not giving the incentives for filming in California. So they're taking the film
Yeah.
industry to London and Albuquerque, New
Right.
Mexico. And even
Yep.
50 Cent just opened up a studio he's doing in Louisiana now. And it's just like, it's because California is not, but this is where the magic is made here in
Yeah.
California. Why
Yeah.
would you not take care of these people so that they would stay here? So it's just, I see them with an ongoing battle and just
Yeah.
trying to, keep it here. And then AI ain't helping us none. So that's
Mhm.
ruling out, if they
Mm.
film all the way around this person's head, now they can now make this person's hair do whatever they
Mm.
wanted to do in any film anywhere. So Tyler Perry said he's already made 3 films with AI already. And so it's unfortunate because Tyler Perry at least was going around the neighborhoods, getting the young
Mm-hmm.
black men,
Oh
bringing
yeah.
them in, teaching them how
Yeah.
to do lighting and grips and all this kind of stuff. Well, now what happens to all those people that you just put out of work? You just built this huge, magnificent studio. I'm like, oh no, like AI, it sucks.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that topic up because we've talked to Matt Fink about AI in terms of composing music, and that's a whole other. The genie is out of the bottle. Ain't no way to put the
Right.
genie back in on that, and we
Yeah,
forget that you survived another Hollywood strike there. Just when people were coming out of COVID and getting back to work again, then you had that whole other strike
Right.
trying to
mm-hmm.
resolve the whole AI issue and what have you. Yeah, I mean, nothing beats the real tactile thing. You know it, and I
Right.
know it. I could have an AI haircut. You know, I wouldn't
Yep,
want
yep,
one. I can tell you
yep.
that. Listen, at 54, I'm just grateful to God Almighty I still have hair to cut. Let
Yeah.
alone, let alone,
Need AI for it, right?
you need a. Oh, please, maybe touch up the grays a little bit. That's about it.
Okay.
Kim, this has been wonderful for Kurt and I,
Yes,
and we can't thank you enough for being here with us.
absolutely.
We are certainly going to include your links when this gets posted. But can you just, for our audience, just go over your links and how everyone can find you again?
Okay, you can find me on Kim Berry on set on Instagram, Facebook, uh, Snapchat. It first started off Kim B on set. Now it's Kim Berry on set. So you can find me on any one of those. Like I said, I have my website is www.thekimberry.com. Um, yeah, and you can find the books are on my page, so you can go to
Yep.
Amazon, you type in Prince Hairstylist, it'll come up. If you go to my page and hit the Kajabi link, is where you'll find a brush of brilliance for the new book that's showing you how to become a
Ooh.
celebrity hairstylist, and not only
Yep.
become one, maintain it while you're there, because you have to be
Yeah.
able, once you get in there, it's not enough. You got to be able to maintain
Right.
once you
Right.
get there. So that's what the vibe is about. So I'm all about pouring into the youth. I speaking, and traveling around the world and speaking to different students, and
Mm.
I just love it. And then the great part about doing podcast is because you can reach so many more people,
Yep.
and
Yes.
that you can't get to. So
Yeah.
that's beautiful as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to taking Prince around the world with me. I have like a little, I call a museum. So I have his gold outfit. I have some of his clothing, some of his jewelry, and so we're just gonna, when part two comes out, we're gonna travel the world again, and we're gonna talk about this great legend that was Prince Roger Nelson,
Yes, ma'am.
and talk about the goodness of God, and like I said, how Prince used to get excited about God. I do the same thing, and so I want to be able to just share the love of God with everybody I come in contact with.
And let us not forget you preaching the gospel. Good hair.
Right.
Good
Okay,
hair,
that's
baby.
right.
Good hair. Listen, the
Right.
price of eggs can go up, the price of gas can go up, but I'll be damned if I'm going to skimp on my hair getting cut. I
Right.
just keep
That's
that a buck right there.
That's right.
that's right. That's
Yep.
right.
High tight, one and a half hard part. Let's get it. Let's
You're
get it done.
good.
Let's
Right.
get it done, man. Every 3 weeks.
That's right. That's right.
Kim,
Kurt.
thank you so much for coming on. We can't take enough of your, and thank you for living up to our name of our podcast, the Electric Vibe. Because talking to you and listening to
Yes.
you stories, you do bring an electric vibe wherever you go. So thank you first and foremost for that. If you liked
Thank you,
what you heard, yeah, thank you, Kim. If you liked what you heard and or saw today, please, if you're on YouTube watching us, please hit like and subscribe below. We are on, thanks to Jay, we are on all streaming formats now for everywhere that you get your podcast: Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music. Jay, I'm forgetting a whole lot of others. We're everywhere.
iHeartRadio. We're everywhere. YouTube.
iHeartRadio,
So,
everywhere,
right.
thanks to his Hercules-like efforts. And if folks, as I always say before we close each episode, a rising tide lifts all boats. Jay?
So once again, for everyone out there, I want to thank Kim Berry very much for your time. This has truly been wonderful for us. I'm sure we're going to see you again. And like I like to say, when the universe comes knocking, you have to answer the door. Peace.
Peace.
All right,